India-Russia oil friendship break. India's Reliance stops Russian oil. US pressure or pure economics? Friends, yes. India's Reliance Industries Limited has suddenly stopped importing oil from Russia, and this one decision has shaken the international oil market because half of the Russian oil that used to come to India was being imported just by one company, Reliance Industries Limited. So when Reliance Industries stepped back, all of a sudden, global analysts are saying India has stepped back, not just one company, Reliance. International media, energy analysts, geopolitical experts, everyone is saying the same. So is India betraying a tried and tested friend, Russia? Is this US pressure? Is Trump winning here? Or is this just smart economic math? And what does India gain or lose with this move? Let's break the entire story layer by layer in this today's video. Please stay with us till the very end. Reliance stops Russian oil. Ambani shuts the gate. Friends, Reliance has stopped importing Russian crude oil for its Jamnagar refinery. From November 20, no Russian crude will enter the processing unit, and from December 1, none of the export products will contain Russian oil. Only pre-committed cargo, already agreed shipments will have Russian crude. Nothing new. And even if a small amount of Russian oil remains in storage, Reliance says, we will not use that for export products. We will refine that only in domestic tariff area, meaning petrol and diesel for use inside India, not for exporting to foreign countries. This is like a roadside food cart saying, don't worry, the oil used for non-veg won't even touch your veg food. Reliance is giving exactly that assurance to Europe and the West. Don't worry, your products won't have Russian oil. Is India abandoning a friend? Friends, even though Reliance is a private company, global analysts interpret this as India has stopped Russian oil because we have already explained it to you. Reliance is India's largest oil refiner. Almost 40 to 50% of the Russian oil that came to India was bought by Reliance alone. India imports 10 to 18 lakh barrels of oil per day. 1 to 1.8 million barrels. Out of this, Reliance alone used to import 5 to 6 lakh barrels, that is 0.5 to 0.6 million barrels. In 2022, Reliance's share was almost 3/4. So when such a giant stops buying, naturally, people assume India as a whole has stepped back. But India hasn't stopped completely. State-owned Indian Oil and ONGC are still buying Russian crude, but their volumes have come down drastically too. Earlier, around 6 state refiners together used to import 8 to 10 lakh barrels per day. That is almost 1 million barrels per day. Now it has dropped to around 5 lakh barrels or 500,000 barrels. So overall, it clearly looks like India is reducing its Russian oil dependence. That is why the discussion now is India ditching Russia? Betraying a friend during war? There Putin struggling for money and you're doing this to him? Some Indians are asking. Because Russia has always supported India. During wars, during crises, disasters, always. At times, India hesitated between going towards the US or Russia, but Russia has consistently stood by India. So when a close friend is in the middle of a war, is India stepping away? Is it bowing to US pressure? That's the big question. US pressure or market logic? The reason everyone is asking this question is because India is cutting Russian import at a time when the US is increasing pressure. Trump is repeatedly asking to do so. Since the Biden era, the US and Europe have criticized India for buying Russian oil, accusing India of indirectly funding Putin's war. But India strongly replied, we aren't buying oil for politics. We buy based on price and national interest and for our own energy security. Whoever gives us oil at a cheaper price, we will buy it. But after Trump came in, the pressure increased further. Even before taking office, Trump was loudly claiming, I will stop the Ukraine war immediately. But when the war didn't stop, the US started pressurizing Russia's partners, including India. They said Russia's economy survives because of oil, so India should not buy Russian oil. But India didn't listen, so the US threatened 50% tariffs and said they may increase it further. So at a time like this, when India suddenly slows Russian imports, naturally people think, Trump pressure. But here's the truth. It only looks like the US pressure. In reality, this is pure market economics as well. Just like India started buying Russian oil because of huge discounts, now India is reducing it because the discount is almost gone. Let me explain the math clearly. First, we need to ask, how did India-Russia oil trade even begin? Before 2022, Russia wasn't a major supplier to India. Barely 1 to 2%. Remember this figure. Barely 1 to 2% of India's crude oil came from Russia before 2022. Just 1 to 2%. But when Russia attacked Ukraine, the US imposed sanctions. Europe and US shut their markets to Russian oil. Russia suddenly had fewer buyers. So, Russia offered heavy discounts on their crude. Brent crude was around $80 a barrel. Russia offered its Urals crude for just $65, a $15 discount per barrel. That was extraordinary. Great offer. India grabbed the opportunity. Indian imports of Russian oil skyrocketed from a few thousand barrels to 20 lakh barrels or 2 million barrels per day. This helped India maintain stable petrol diesel prices for its people and helped Indian companies earn massive profits. Government data says India saved 25 billion US dollars due to discounted Russian oil. Indian refiners individually made $4 to $6 billion in profits. All this happened because Russia was selling at huge discounts. But now the discount has disappeared. Brent is around $64 and Russian Urals are at $60 to $62, a difference of just $3 to $4 per barrel. So why should India take geopolitical risks for just $3 difference, especially when the US is ready to impose 50+% tariffs on India just due to this? And Europe is delaying trade deals. Economically, buying Russian oil now creates more risk than reward for India. And here is another important point. Nearly 90% of the Russian oil refined in India is exported to Europe, not used by Indian citizens. So the criticism was, Indian companies, especially private ones, are making huge profits. But the political headache is India's as a country. And from January 1, Europe has said, we will not accept any fuel that contains Russian crude. So Indian companies will lose the market anyway. If Europe won't buy, who will India sell to? So by this logic, India reducing Russian oil is not betrayal, it is pure business logic. And remember, India is still buying Russian weapons. India still allows Russian investments. India still continues trade in multiple sectors. India has not abandoned Russia diplomatically. While announcing these oil cut decisions, Indian higher officials were in Russia talking to Putin. Mr. Jaishankar, who is our foreign minister, was in Moscow meeting Putin and other leaders. So something big is cooking between India and Russia. And Mr. President Vladimir Putin is visiting India in December 2025 at the year end. There some big announcements are expected. So India and Russia are actively engaged even while announcing this crude oil import cut decision. And we have to remember, the oil relationship was always based on discounts, not emotion. Even Russia itself said, India will buy our oil as long as it is beneficial for them. So this is not betrayal, this is a pragmatic adjustment, a practical, timely decision based on economic reality. And also, we are not denying Trump's pressure here. It has also played a role, but it is not the single point which made India to bend. There are economic realities as well. So before patting on his own back, Trump must remember, before 2022, we want to repeat this point, India was buying just 2% of its oil, 1 to 2% of its oil from Russia. When discounts started, we started buying more. Now there is no massive discount. Mr. Trump, you must remember this line when you praise yourself for every happening across the world. Friends, what do you think on this now? Please let us know your thoughts on the comment section below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and especially please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This is very important for us, especially for a new channel like us. Thank you so much. Let's meet again. Keep looking for better. Namaste.